Hello, my friends. Dave D here, and welcome to this Friday training how to use email to convert leads into clients. Glad to have you with me here. And whether you're with me live or you're watching the recording of this, I've got a lot of great information to share with you in a short period of time. If you have any questions, you can enter them in depending on the platform that you are on. And even if I don't answer them live, I will go and answer your questions afterwards. So make sure that you take the time to ask questions if you need to ask questions. We do these live trainings about once a week on Fridays, and I really enjoy doing them, giving you concise information in a short period of time, showing you how you can increase your sales, get more clients, make more money, help more people without spending more money on marketing. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is email marketing. How do we properly use email to convert prospects, convert leads into either sales or into appointments, depending upon what your model actually is? Well, the first thing I want to say is that email is still one of the best ways for making that happen, for turning leads into appointments or into sales. Regardless of what the gurus say, even though, by the way, the gurus are still using email as their primary method of generating leads, turning leads into clients. Uh, they may be preaching other things like texting and all kinds of different things and using Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, all of those things work. And I'm definitely not saying that you shouldn't do them. However, what I am saying is that email is still king, right? So building our list, getting people to on our email list is mission critical, and it is going to be for a really long period of time. There are stats on this that show that the majority of consumers still prefer email as their main mode of communication. Now, some people say, well, guess what? My open rates are going down. Deliverability is going down, all of that kind of stuff. Well, email rates are only going down because you're not writing compelling emails that people want to read. My average open rate is about 34%, which is pretty darn good. And I'm going to share with you exactly how you do that and how you structure the emails so they actually get the results that you want to get. And so you're not just sending out emails into the abyss. What we're not going to be talking about here today is building your email list. This is okay. I've got my email list. Now, what do I actually do with it so I can see results in my bank account? So let's get started with that. And again, if you've got questions, enter them in, depending on the platform that you're on. You enter them into either the chat or you can enter them into the comments below. And even if I don't get to your question live, I will make sure I answer them at a later date in a couple days. I go through and I check all of the social media, YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and answer the questions. Okay, so let's dispel a myth right away, and that is that the money is in the list. Everyone's preaching, hey, the money is in the list. The money is in the list. That's not correct. The money is not in the email list. The money is in the relationship that you have with the people that you have on your email list. And so what you want to be looking at is the relationship. And so you want to write down the word relationship. That's what email should be doing. It should be building a relationship with your audience. Because with that relationship, comes trust, comes like the prospect will like you. And when you get the prospect to know you, like you, and trust you, they are more likely to take the actions that you want them to take. So the money is not in the list, the money is in the relationship with the list. So how do we go about building that relationship with our list? Well, it's not as hard as you might think. And so there are actually two different phases to email marketing. And by the way, at the S3 Summit, I'm going to be going over each of these in detail. If you don't know what the S3 Summit is, go to s3liftoff.com, s3liftoff.com, and you can either get a virtual ticket or an in-person ticket in Orlando. But there's two different phases. The first phase is when someone first opts into your list. The second phase is, okay, now they're on my list. What am I going to do to email them and to get a response? So, the first phase, when someone initially opts into your email list, right, regardless of how they get there, Facebook, LinkedIn, advertising, they come to your website, whatever it is. Now they're on your list. What should you send them immediately? The first thing that you should send them is a series of emails, and I typically do 5 to 7 emails that are in the Dean Jackson style. So if you don't know Dean, he's an absolute marketing genius. He's a friend of mine. And Dean teaches that you want your emails to be sent so that they appear to be extremely personal and that they're expecting a response. So the first emails that go out are not pitching something. They're not. I should check that. There's typically a call to action, but it's a light call to action. But it's really to start the relationship that you have with the list. And so these emails are, you want the person to reply to you. Now, the truth is that in the beginning, you are personally going to be replying back to the people who email you. And you're going to be asking them questions about themselves, about their business, depending on what your business actually is. Now, will everyone respond and reply to the email? No, they won't, but it doesn't matter. As long as they're reading them and they're like, wow, this is a different thing than I thought I was going to get. It's not a Madison Avenue type of email. It's looks like it's really, really personal. Now, the people who do reply, you do reply back to them. In the beginning, you're going to actually be replying. But then what happens is you'll notice that everyone is basically sending the same set of questions, same set of responses. And so once you write out your initial responses, you don't necessarily have to reply to each of the emails yourself. You can have an executive assistant do it. So we had in another business that I own, there's a financial advisor. His name is Josh Jelinski. And Josh followed this exact procedure. And he sent out these personal, very personal emails expecting a response. Now, we had quite a large list. I think he had a list of 4,000. And he wrote us and he says he's happily overwhelmed because he received over 600 replies to that email. And he was stunned because he thought that these were dead leads. And from those, so some people obviously said, take me off the list, but most people replied to him very positively. What happened was he booked 18 consultations from what he thought were dead leads. So if you already have a list, you can send out a personal series of emails and that will get a response. And by the way, I'm doing that for the S3 Summit. I've gone through my list and I'm sending emails actually from my personal email address. And people, guess what, are responding to them. So in saying, hey, are you coming to the event? Did you get your hotel room yet? Are you attending virtually or in person? Right. So again, the first, as Dean calls it, the first 100 hours should be these type of emails. They're personal and they're expecting a reply. I'm telling you, if you do this, it is a game changer. Now, by the way, if you're selling professional services, there really is no better strategy than that. Now, what do you do after the first 100 hours of emails? Well, then we're going to take a slightly different tact. Because now we've sent them personal emails. They're very nice. They're very warm sounding. A bunch of people will respond to them. But then what do we do? Well, we've got to keep nurturing this list. And the way that you do that is as follows. Let me tell you the best way to do it first, and then I'll give you an alternative method, which is not as effective, but still very, very effective. And I rather have you do, by the way, the second method, the alternative method, than not do this at all. So here is the absolute best method for doing this. And that is to email on a daily basis. You heard me correct. Email your list on a daily basis. My subscribers, and I know that there's some on here, get my emails every single day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on Saturday and Sunday. Typically, it's Monday through Friday, and they get a daily email from me. This week, I actually sent out 2 emails a day. One, my standard email, the second one promoting the S3 Summit. And now you may be thinking, well, wait a minute. If I send out a daily email, people are going to be really pissed and they're going to opt out of my list. Well, here's what will happen. And here are the facts about this. When you first start sending a daily email, if you haven't done it, there will be people who opt out of your list. There will be a small, and I do mean small percentage of people that'll send you an angry email. But provided that you're sending entertaining and informational emails, or what I call infotaining emails, what's going to happen is your opt-out rate will go down. And we tested this, not just with my list, by the way, but with a list of financial advisors. Okay. And here's what they found. Initially, when they started sending a daily email, they had a small percentage of folks who said, take me off the list. Now, the truth is, if someone's going to be pissed about hearing from you, specifically if you're providing really good information to them, they're probably not going to become a client anyway. There were some advisors, by the way, who immediately freaked out and said, I'm not going to do it. That is 100% the wrong way to do it, because they're taking the tiny percentage, like less than 0.5% of people, and ignoring the other people who are enjoying doing it. The ones that kept doing the daily email, what they found is that their open rates go up every month and their opt-out rates go down every month. So consistency really is the key here. So I'm going to give you 5 ways to write emails that will get you that. So you have one for every day. Now, I have more than this, but hey, listen, I want to give you the information that you can take and that you can use immediately and not overload you with a bunch of ideas. So here's the first thing. The first type of email, which is my favorite type of email, is the personal story-based email. You just talk about something that happened in your life and you tie it in with uh, a message. The key to this is the entertainment factor, the story factor is this long. The tying it in with the message is this long. Most people do it in the opposite. What they do is they think that if I deliver a bunch of hardcore content and hardcore teaching, people are going to like that. That's not the case at all. People want to be entertained first and informed second. So you come up with, hey, this is what I did. And if you want to see examples of this, just go to daved.com/blog and you'll see hundreds, literally hundreds of examples of me talking about how I went hiking. That's one that I wrote this week. How we went to this restaurant and we got bad service. And it's very easy to tie in a point. Now, there does need to be a payoff for your subscriber, meaning there's got to be a single lesson in the email which ties in with what you just talked about. So that's the first type of email, which is the personal type of email. The second type of email is the Q&A email. This is where you ask your subscribers to send in their questions. Now, in the beginning, you may not have any questions that subscribers actually send in, and that's absolutely fine. So what you do in this case is you just do a Q&A based upon questions that you know your audience has. And you don't tell them that these questions were submitted. You simply say, hey, these are questions that my readers have. At the end of that email, you will then say, hey, if you've got questions, send them to me and I'll make sure I answer them in this email. So again, this way you're getting a little bit of interaction with your audience as well. So first, you can send the personal story-based email. On Tuesday, for example, you can send the Q&A email. On Wednesday, skipping an entire day, on Wednesday, you can send a checklist. Okay, here are the 3 most important things you need to look out for when you're creating an estate plan. Here are the 3 little known ways to make sure that you maximize your 401k dollars. So whatever it is, it's a very, very simple checklist. Very easy. They're just bullet points and you do a little description around them. So that could be your Wednesday email. Your Thursday email is even easier than that. And just so everybody knows, it doesn't matter what days you send these out. I'm just giving you 5 different types of emails that you could rotate through every week. And in just a minute, I'm going to share with you a strategy where you don't have to do a daily email. So the email on Thursday, your 4th type of email is a YouTube video. So go find a YouTube video that is entertaining and fun. I will often use a clean comedian's video clip, right? Something that's short. We don't want to send somebody to like an hour and a half show, but like a 3-minute clip. I use a lot of Brian Regan because he's a clean comedian. Jerry Seinfeld, clean comedian, right? So we don't want to have anything that's going to offend people. Or movie clips work really well as well. Then what you do is, just as you did with the personal email, you tie in the content of that email with a singular point that you're going to make. So you don't just send out a video that says, hey, go watch this funny video. You got to tie it in. To give you an example, Brian Regan has a video clip on YouTube about refrigerators. He goes to buy a refrigerator, and his experience doing that, and the salesman, right? And so it's very easy. He's talking about sales, right? Someone trying to sell him a refrigerator. Well, that's very easy for me to tie in with a message about what I'm talking about. Because what do I talk about? I talk about sales. And so I make a single point about that in relation to the video. Very, very simple to do. And your audience will love those. And then on Friday, you simply go and you look for a news story that pertains to your particular niche, whatever is going to interest your target market. So if you're an attorney, financial advisor, consultant, whatever it is, just go and look for a news story. And then it's really the same format. You print the news story, right? Put it in the email and then make a comment, tie it in with what you're talking about. At the end of each one of these daily emails, there's some form of call to action. That call to action could be to sign up for a webinar. That call to action could be to schedule a consultation with you. But there's always a call to action at the end of every one of your emails. So let's just do a quick review here of the 5 different types of emails that you can send. Again, there are more, but you don't need more. You just need these 5. Number 1 is the personal email with the personal story tie-in. The second type is the checklist email. Okay, the checklist. Hey, boom, boom, boom. The third type is the Q&A type of email. The fourth type of email is the YouTube video with a tie-in. And the fifth type of email is a news story with a tie-in. And remember, each one of these has a call to action at the end. Once again, by the way, if you have questions, enter your questions into the chat or the Q&A section, depending upon the platform that you're watching this on. And again, if I don't answer your question live, I will be going through each one of the platforms and answering any questions that are posed. So now let's say you say, Dave, no way in hell am I doing a daily email. I don't care how effective it is, Dave. I don't care if it makes me a gazillionaire. I'm not doing a daily email. Well, I would say that's probably a mistake, but I know that some people just won't do it. So what do you do instead to develop this relationship with the list and stay in contact with them? Remember, people take up to 18 months, sometimes up to 2 years to make a buying decision. You've got to stay in contact with them. Well, the alternative to this is to do a video email once a month. And my recommendation is you do something like I'm doing right now. So this could be, now I happen to be using Vimeo for this, but I could also be using YouTube. And by the way, this is streaming to YouTube at the same time. So I'm getting double duty, as well as Facebook. So I'm getting double duty out of this one broadcast. So you can broadcast it to multiple platforms at the same time with a single topic that your audience is interested in, exactly like I'm doing right now. This is one of the emails that I sent out to my list this week. Okay. And I do it live. Why do I do it live? The reason I do it live is because this allows me to promote the day before, right? Hey, I'm doing this live video tomorrow about XYZ. It allows me to promote on the day of, hey, remember, I'm doing this live video today at 3 p.m. Eastern about XYZ. And it allows me to promote the next day, talking about, hey, I did this live video yesterday. Here's the replay. So it allows me with one singular option to promote 3 times in a single week. So actually, I'm emailing my list 3 times in a single week. Now, just so everybody knows, for this one, I didn't do that. For this one, I sent out a single email about what I was going to do because I had other emails planned for the week. But if you're only going to do one, that's the way to do it. So how do you create that? Well, I'm going to be going over that in detail at the S3 Summit. But this is my entire outline, right, for today's call. And as you can see, I kind of glanced at it a couple times, but I know my stuff, so I really don't need to look at it that much. So what I do is I just put the bullet points in the order that I want to talk to them about, and that's it. So either you do a daily email using the format that I gave you, which is 5 different ways to send the email, or do a once a month live video, once a week live video that you promote via email. And again, with the technology that's available today, you can broadcast it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all at the same time. All right, so you really get a lot of bang for your buck with that methodology. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, let them in. Jim Bell says, "What's happening? What's happening, Jim? Uh, helping people make money, dude. Helping people make money." Okay. So, Howard, do you recommend using the DMail program for that, Dave? Yeah, Howard, absolutely. The DMail program is really, really fantastic. And if you guys are interested in that, you can go to daved.com/DMail. That's DEE mail, and you can get information about that. But a bottle of white and water glasses. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Howard is actually talking about an email that I sent out about this whole wine experience that I had. Okay, so let's see here. When is the event starting? Are you talking about the S3 Summit, Jim? So the S3 Summit is starting. It starts on October 1st, and it runs through October 3rd. You can attend in person. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, or you can attend virtually. Okay, in Orlando, or you can attend virtually. And we have invested significantly in a virtual event platform, so it's not just a streaming event. You'll be able to visit the vendors' booths, interact with the vendors, interact with the other attendees. It'll be as close to coming to a live event as possible without actually coming to the live event. If you guys are interested in that and you don't have a ticket yet, go to s3liftoff.com, s3liftoff.com. I'll actually put that into the chat so you guys can make it easy for everybody. Let's get that into the chat. And, if you have any other questions, enter them in. There you go. So the event starts at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, ends at 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. Okay. Is it worth hiring a copywriter to actually write all of these emails? So if it's a really, 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 really good copywriter, okay, most copywriters cannot handle this type of email. But yeah, I mean, so my friend Perry Marshall has a copywriter that writes his emails for him, and he's top of the line. So you got to hire somebody who truly understands this type of email marketing, because most are going to you don't want to come across as Joe salesperson, right? You want to come across as someone who is delivering really good information. It's entertaining in a friendly way. So yeah, Joanna, I mean, if it's a decision between you not sending the email and you hiring a copywriter to do it, I would absolutely hire the copywriter to do it, as provided that they understand what you're supposed to be doing with these emails, right? You got to kind of train them a little bit, because these are personal sounding, right? They're personal sounding, they're personal looking, they're very, very friendly, and your personality needs to come across. If you're gonna, if it were me, instead of hiring a copywriter, if I wasn't going to do a daily email, I would go with my second method, which is to do the live video. I mean, it couldn't be any easier, guys. Let me tell you a little secret here. You see this outline that I created, right? I was so busy today. We did another webinar earlier today, and I literally didn't have any time. I created this outline at 2:45. Literally at 2:45 for a 3 o'clock broadcast, because you're talking about things that don't make it more complicated than it is, right? And so by using that methodology, by doing a live video and just having your notes in front of you, I mean, you can bang these things out so easily. I mean, so easily, and that'll give you 3 promotions. The reason I'd like you to do it live is because you do get, first of all, you can interact with your audience. Okay. So as you can see, I'm interacting right now. People are asking questions, they're making jokes, which I love. And I can actually interact and answer people's questions. So by the way, if you guys got questions, enter them in here. Would you send us the outline? But I like a written version of the content. So the problem with the written version of the content, Joanna, is then you have a tendency to read it, which comes across as really, really bad. Okay. You really lose the viewer. So if I was sitting here and I was trying to read something or I was reading off a teleprompter, it wouldn't have come across as well. So if you are a DMail subscriber, I guess I can post this outline. I mean, it's nothing really that exciting, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll have to try to figure it out. Maybe I'll just upload it and put a link in the YouTube video or something like that. But I'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. So yes, just for our reference. Yeah. I mean, I'll get it and I'll post it somewhere. Okay, because I'll be sending out a replay link to this video. Okay. Do we have any other questions from anybody? Oh, thanks, Joanna. She says because she wants it because the content is really valuable. Yeah, that's the whole thing with these guys. Thank you, Joanna. The thing is, you need to deliver quality content. Okay. I mean, that's like you got to deliver real quality stuff, but it doesn't have to be a lot of stuff. Okay. It doesn't have to be like this massive dump. In fact, people don't want that. Right. So, that's the way to do it. Oh, what I was going to say, Joanna, is the reason that I do like to do it live is it allows me that promotion the day before, the day of, and the day after. If it's a recorded video, it doesn't really lend itself smoothly to that type of promotion. Because to say, hey, tomorrow I've got a video coming out. Hey, the video's out. Hey, the video's still out. Right? If it's recorded, it's just not as effective. It does make sense to promote it the day before, the day of, and the day after if it's live. And live is so easy. And you'll be more natural live and you'll actually get it done faster. If I had to plan this bad boy out, it would take me forever. Okay. So Bruce asks, so it's a daily email infotainment plus weekly live. Well, that's what I do. Okay. In most cases, but you don't have to do that. It can be any combination that you want. So if you're going to do the daily email, so you would take one of those out. So for example, remember for the daily emails, we had the personal story base, we had the Q&A, we had the checklist, we had the YouTube video with the tie-in, we had the news story. If you're going to do a live video, that means you really only need to write a couple of those daily emails because you're still going to have a daily email announcing the live video. And then on the day of the live video and the day after the replay. So that means it really cuts down on the number. So for me, I like to do a daily. First of all, I have fun writing it. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it should be fun for you. You should be talking about fun stuff. And then, so then I will still do this type of. I will still do this type of live video once a month. Once a week. Or in many cases, I won't do it live. I will record it, put it up on YouTube, and that'll be my email for that week. And I typically do that on a Friday. But again, so you can absolutely do that. If you're petrified of going live in front of the camera, then if you're going to do a daily email, you can easily just make that a recorded video and send it out. All right. So here's the bottom line. At a minimum of once a week, you should be contacting your subscribers and your leads. And by the way, I put my customers on it too. Even people, for example, who are already coming to the S3 Summit, I still promoted this to them. Why? Because it's good content, right? And it reinforces the value. So Bruce got it. He wrote 3 live video emails, day before, day of, day after. Yep, you got it, Bruce. Okay, do we have any other questions from anybody? If not, we will call it a day here. And we'll head off into the weekend, inspired, motivated, and thinking, man, that Dave D guy is the milk of human kindness. He's a prince among men. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for watching. By the way, if you're not a DMail subscriber and you're watching this, you got to get on my daily DMail list. Simply go to daved.com, daved.com. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the nice comments. I really do. If you've got questions and you're watching on another platform, I will answer your questions. You just got to enter them and make a comment. If you're on the YouTube, give this a thumbs up. If you really liked it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos. Finally, if you don't have your ticket to the S3 Summit, you could read all about it at s3liftoff.com. That's s3liftoff.com. The letter S, the number 3, liftoff.com. You can attend virtually or in person. But hurry up because we're getting close to the event. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you again.